change in your work responsibility is typically not the first warning sign of discrimination, but it's often the first to make you wonder if your career is at risk. It is normal to find yourself bouncing between being worried this is discrimination and convincing yourself that you're maybe making a big deal out of something that isn't a big deal. Why would you be so desperate to believe it's not discrimination? Because it's 2024, and aren't your rights protected? And discrimination this brazen, it just can't happen, right? Or can it? You may be surprised how scared you are to say the word discrimination out loud to someone of authority, and rightfully so. Because if you do it before you have enough proof, you may unknowingly put your career at risk before you even know what's going on. So in the next few videos, we'll cover the last warning sign of discrimination before the discrimination becomes undeniable, a change in workplace responsibility. And if this is the first video you're seeing from us, visit our page to watch the full series on the early warning signs of workplace discrimination. Many stories of discrimination start with a role change that isn't necessarily a step backwards, but is less responsibility in one way or another. You're told it's no big deal and not to worry, especially since they're not even changing your pay. But if there's nothing to worry about, why do you feel like you were just punched in the gut? Maybe it's because you were exceeding expectations for your role. In fact, you outperformed everyone on your team, so your selection just doesn't make sense to you. And you know that there's that one difference between you and your peers that isn't work or performance related, but surely your boss wouldn't deem you less qualified or try to move you to a different team just because they learned you were gay, right? So you begin asking questions, and that's when the gaslighting begins. All you wanted to know was why you were selected, but for the boss who has no answer, you've just become a problem. And the longer you doubt yourself, the more time they have to make sure everyone else sees you as the problem too. Being singled out for what feels like a demotion may make you wonder if you're being discriminated against. But what if they don't change your pay and they assure you it has nothing to do with your performance? In fact, they tell you that you've been selected for this change because of how great you are. And this is just what the business needs right now. But you can't help but wonder, why are you the only people leader who lost all of their direct reports? And why don't you have a say in any of this if it isn't a punishment? Plus, what the others don't know is you rejected your boss on a work trip a month ago after he made a pass at you. It's been awkward ever since, but no one else was present for the incident, so you figured it wouldn't do any good to report it. But now your boss is demoting you, and you have to do something. You may have tried to avoid this fight, but now that the discrimination has escalated, you'll need to take the steps necessary to protect your career. All workplace discrimination is frustrating, but of the worst is a change in responsibility. You know that this change means less opportunity and visibility, and that will have long-term implications for your career. But there are no immediate financial implications, and therefore limited options for what you can do legally. Plus, it's really hard to prove the absence of justification, and you'll likely need to make comparisons to someone else who should have been considered. It's already uncomfortable, but add in the likelihood that your boss may use this to make you out to be the self-centered bad guy, and there's a lot of risk with speaking up. That's why we include this as an early warning sign. You may not have a legal case yet, but it's increasingly likely you will. When your promotion is denied, or you learn you make less because of the reduced responsibility, you want to already have the evidence to prove a pattern of discrimination, especially because in the worst case scenario, you are terminated and lose access entirely.